Well, it's a new look for the women's team with the addition and the implementation of numerous transfers, some old, some new, all ready to play. And it's not your regular faces leading this team either. Zambroda and Hajduk have been leading the team in scoring this year, while Nilaluma has somewhat regressed. She does, however, lead the team in rebounds with 5.8 per game. The issue here is one we see with every team when it's a ragtag team of recruits and transfers. No one knows who's in charge. They had close games, and despite their absolute blowout loss to Princeton, they're looking fairly decent when it comes to depth. The challenge is integration, and with the league with such elite talent, the problem is making sure they get it fixed soon. I'm extremely optimistic about Zambroda's aggressive scoring, her playmaking ability, and her leadership, and I like seeing what Luma and Mokwa's rebounding ability is looking like. I just need more cohesiveness on the floor. And I'm not seeing the implementation of Levy and Gums in the way that we might have expected with their performances last year. Gums especially, who proved to be a sneaky option late in the year. It will take time to see the results with this team, and the only factor now is when. Joining us now is a person who's been tracking this team along with me since his freshman year, our very own Gus Eckstein. Gus, what have you been seeing with this team this year?
It's really a story, Parker, of young and transfer students, like you were saying, especially freshmen Tori Hajduk and Faith Bethlin. They both were twice state players, all-state players in high school from New Jersey and Maine, respectively. But also, Bethlin was the finalist for Miss Maine basketball, which is a prestigious award that we can only guess what it's about. But still, they both have had about 10 points per game and about 30 minutes per game in the first 4 games of the season, going 2-2 so far with the Colonials. These young talents are really giving a bright future to our program, and it's exciting to see them integrate with a transfer like Zambroda.
Well, I think Zambroda has been absolutely dominant. I want to talk about her for a little bit because I think she was the breakout star we might not have been expecting. Again, in that kind of one-on-one interview, no one really talked to Zambroda, and I don't think anyone really anticipated her breakout season. Now, to be fair, she did help Louisville get to the Final Four berth her sophomore year. She was a redshirt last year. She didn't play. She was on the bench quite a bit. And again, we didn't really see this breakout mentality from her. At least a lot of people in the media didn't really see it that way. She's been doing absolutely amazing, and I think she's taken the leadership a little bit from Nilaluma. Now, Nilaluma obviously was fantastic last year. She was really the core and really the leadership and the young leadership going into future years, but I think that's really going to be Zambroda going forward, especially as a redshirt junior, and she has a few more years going with the GWU program. I think it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic between the two.
Yeah, Gus, I want you to talk a little bit about Coach Rosati. She has been here for the past 4 years, and she has a 49-44 record, as you have here with your Vamp notes. So can you just talk a little bit about what she's going to be doing this season?
She's a really good coach, and although there have been some talks maybe about the fact that she's having trouble communicating her message, it's clearly a good one. She knows what she's talking about. She played for Connecticut for 4 years, which is, of course, the most prestigious women's basketball team in the country. She won their first national championship way back in 1995. And so far this year, she seems to have the team on a really good path with this young talent. Recently, she was actually named to the U.S. women's national team coaching staff that's going to go to Tokyo in 2020. And it's just a really exciting time for her, I think, as well as the program.
Now, Gus, talk to me a little bit about the depth. Because Coach Rosati, she's spoken time and time again about the depth of this team. That's her pride and joy this season, especially with a whole bunch of transfers coming in this year, and kind of the lack of that returners coming into this season. Tell me a little bit about what we're seeing there in terms of players on the court, how they're implementing their offensive schemes, their defensive schemes, and just the players in general.
So the unusual situation, because 11 of the 13 players are either transfers or new, it's given them the opportunity to kind of rotate a lot. And therefore, we're able to get all these new players onto the court. And 11 of the 13, in fact, have played over 10 minutes a game thus far in the season, which has been a big factor in not only getting experience this year, in a year where you have a bunch of young players and not as many seniors. Of course, we have 2 grad students and a senior on the team, but it really bodes well for the future of this program as well.
Well, I think one thing to look at, too, is just their implementation of 3 points and how they're going to actually use their offensive schemes. But I think the depth's something to look at. I think that's going to be very optimistic going in the future. But, Gus, thank you so much for joining us at the desk. Really greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.